Alright, everybody, so welcome back to another Flask from scratch. Create a Node web app using Flask. And then today what we're going to work on edit, delete, and search your node. So first thing I guess we'll implement is the search. So I guess we'll just create a search.html for now. And then in here, I'm just going to say search. And then maybe in here we could give a form. It's a get. And then for the action, it's going to be search. For now, I'm just gonna add pass, so we don't need to worry about writing anything down in this function. Okay. Now what we'll do is let's go ahead and implement the HTML web page. And it's gonna redirect to /search. No, we don't need this. But in here, we'll go give an input, text, placeholder, do a search for now, and then input type, equal submit. Submit. Alright. Okay, so now what I can do is let me implement here, and then let me give a name attribute as well. Q for query. How about this? Then here we say if request the form.getQ. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and say something like this: result equals to c.execute. And then here we're gonna use the f string. Select star from notes where title like percent request.args.getQ and then a percent after it. And then percent here. And then here you say or title, and then status equals to public dot fetch all. Okay, so there is a problem where issue with this is, as you can see, we use the f string. It's because how we are using a placeholder value doesn't work when we actually have like a literal string. That's why we need to add this part, and then it's not prone to SQL it's prone to SQL injection. So they could technically write any SQL code they want, and then it won't be like, but something that's something we'll do after we finish the entire website, see what we can fix. But for now, that's the easiest way to do it. And in here, we'll just say data equals to list, because we're gonna parse this result. So for results, just gonna simple loop through this entire results, all the data give us. And then I'm just gonna open the database. So there's some specific stuff I want. Oops. Actually, the first thing is we want to get the username. So in here, say c.execute, select name from users where user ID equals to ID. And this is the point where we're using ID is because name maybe is changeable, but user ID is not changeable. That's why we're going to use user ID. And then later, it's just going to be result bracket 1. This is always like the row is basically. So this is like the user ID, and then that fetch all bracket 0 because they only return one row and want the first elements. And then here just say data.append, and then I want to append in this order. data append. We're gonna do a nested array. Result bracket 4, result bracket 5, result bracket 0, result bracket 1, and here I need to say result bracket 6, bracket 1, was as well as name. And here we'll just say return render templates searched .html data equals data. Okay, so notice this basically is append some data that we wanted. So if you take a look of which each column represents, so if you can pay attention to this bottom left corner here, result 401234 is the image URL, and then status, image URL, status, content, note ID, user ID. This is a little bit weird. I need to double check why did I do this, but searched. Okay, so in here, guess now what I'm gonna put is search.html. And then for now, I'm just gonna print out the data, see what data do we have, okay? So let's go ahead and search it up. We function to return value response. This is if otherwise, just gonna say return render templates searched.html. So, oh, not searched, search. Alright, search. No. Sample. Pretty sure one knows at least it's called sample. Wait. Oh, it's not request.form, request.args because it's not post request. Ginger searched, not search. Alright, it's empty. Let me just take a look what data do we have here. Okay. Okay, alright, hello. No search column, user ID. Okay, so it's ID equals to colon ID. Because probably I did something different when I originally designed the source code of the project. But if we refresh, there we go. We see stuff like this. I don't know why do we do something like this. Okay, probably I need to read. So we need image. We don't need content. So we need image URL. We need title. We need description. So we basically need two. So result bracket 2. Result bracket 2. Result bracket 3. Result bracket 4. All right, and then now if you refresh, so now I got the title, description, image that's okay at, and the author. And then we also actually need author ID as well, so I might just add that as well. So result bracket 1. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay, so this is how this search works. And now let's start to parse the data a little bit. So in here, we could just do a Jinja for loop. If you don't know Jinja for loop, it's basically you can actually like use a loop in Jinja, like Python style. You just do something like 4D. in data, but you need to make sure you also always have an and for at the end, and if at the end if you're using an if statement. And then here we just say d bracket 0 is hello world. So in here, I'm just gonna say title, and then title, description, okay. I need to get the thumbnail. I forgot the thumbnail. So this is the thumbnail link. I'm not gonna worry about the style at all for now. I don't need you anymore. And then thumbnail. Maybe we don't need to say this. Image source. D bracket 2 alt. Don't worry about that. Let's see. What else do we have? We have the author. And then for now, that's about it. So now if you take a look, because here's what we got. This sometimes doesn't have image, probably because it's still the old one. And at here, just gonna add a horizontal line to separate. All right, so we don't have image here, so we got title, world, read. So maybe in here, we're gonna add a link, and it's gonna link to their article. So okay, that's why we have the ID, because we want link to their article. So in here, we just say D5, I believe. And put it here. Session slash D5. D5 should be the ID. All right, so successfully redirect to each individual like note page. All right. Something else we want to do is be able to like view an author's page basically. So in here, what we'll do is we're going to implement new routes /a/ user ID, and then define. I'm going to say author. And the point for this is so that you, just like YouTube, where you can see a specific channel, this is also like you can see a note published by a specific user. Here we're going to say notes equals to c.execute, select star from notes, where user ID equals ID, it's ID, not user ID, and status equals to public, and user ID going to be user ID at the fetch all to fetch all the notes, and here we're just gonna say return render templates author HTML notes equals notes. So in here, just gonna create a new template called author.html, and in here, let's see. Maybe we could do something similar to index.html here. I feel like it's basically the same thing. Maybe we don't need to implement that, like just to differentiate. So and technically everybody can use index.html. So let's do search. Okay, so now in here what we'll do is we'll actually add an anchor tag to show the specific like authors page. And then in here just gonna /a/d4, I believe. Alright, let's take a look. Let's see. Yep. /a/author, no column ID named that. Okay, it's user ID. In this case, it's user ID. Okay. So make sure that you keep your row consistent. You do not provide a binding value of 1. Alright. Alright, there you go. This is all the notes I was written apparently. And then yeah, this is all the row that I written. And then something else I want to do is how to edit or update your note and then delete your note. That's also what I want to do. Because in the next video, which is probably gonna be some final videos, is we're gonna take a look how can we implement our own kind of like a OAuth feature. But here we're just gonna say at the route slash delete. Just a sec. Let's see. Okay. So you're gonna first implement update slash node ID. Again, when you're doing a parameter, you don't actually necessarily has to like provide what type it is. You're just right here. I think it will default to a string maybe. So in here, just say define update, and then put node ID here. Update node just in case. And in here, you're gonna write pass for now. Alright, so now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and define a helper function. We'll define a helper function. And then here, just gonna say from app import C. This is the cursor object. And here, just going to define what we call validate node. It's basically gonna take a user ID and a node ID. And it's gonna check whether this user had the right to edit. So whether this node is owned by this user or not. It's pretty simple. So here, just gonna say node equals to c.execute. I'm just gonna use underscore because we don't really need this value. c.execute select star from nodes where user ID equals user ID, node ID equals node ID, user ID is user ID, node ID, the fetch all here. In here, just gonna say if length of this is 0 and return false. That means this user don't have right. Otherwise, it's gonna return true. Okay. All right. So this is a quick helper function. Basically checks whether it's a right to edit or not. Edit the note. So basically it checks whether a user is created that note, so owner of that note. And here we're gonna say we'll go first. So something like this. So let me remove all the templates. In here, it's just gonna say if not validate node. Actually, we're just gonna do if validate node. So if true, session.get user ID request.args.get nope. In this case, oops. Say no ID here. And then if it's true, then do something and return. In here just gonna return string says you can't update this note. Alright, so if it's a user, then what we'll do first is essentially we'll say if method equals to post, else pass. Okay, so in here we'll say something like this. Let's implement the else first, as always. So in here, just going to say nope equals to theta execute. So like start from notes where node ID is node ID, and then ID is node ID. You're just gonna say .fetch all. And then here's a magical step. Here what we'll do is we'll return render templates new.html. You notice, hey, we're not creating new notes. And that's because we're gonna provide a few values as well. Title, we're gonna provide the title, description, 1, 2, so this is 2, this is 3. Description, let's see, description, we also need the status. Status is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then contents equals to no 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the most important one, attribute action equals to f string slash update slash node ID. Okay. Alright, so let's take. Actually, do you need to provide this at all? We don't need to provide this at all. Yeah, we don't need to provide this at all, because like it's automatically going to be the route. Okay, so this is basically like the template that's going to render, and then let's go take a look. We're going to update the new.html. So it's going to work. First value equals title. This equals to description. We don't need this. And then this is the most complicated one. In here just say if status. Maybe there's a better way to do it. Public. So I'm just gonna check every option. Status equals public. Let's see, so this is gonna be checked. Else if status equals to unlisted. You'll get checked. But otherwise, I mean, checked is basically like by default. It means basically you're gonna get checked. Okay. And then finally, well, otherwise we're either gonna say status equals to private. Then here we can say else, because then maybe the status undefined will create a new node. And then here just gonna say this. Okay. So let's see. Description, title, I need to, yes, good. Here you're just gonna say content. Alright, let's take a look. Let's take a look on how can we update it now. Okay, I don't think I can do this. Just gonna remove this. Then bring this validate node to here. Bring the helper function to here, basically. Alright, there we go. So now I need to get a node ID. Okay, got a node ID. This is my node ID. And here, just gonna say slash update. Alright, public is the default. I don't know why it doesn't get evaluated, but I guess it's fine. Okay, so now it works. Let's see, what else do we need to do? We need to actually like implement the post. So what's happened when this update function, when this gets submitted, basically. And here we're just gonna say if not request dot files image. That means the user didn't upload a new thumbnail image. If the user didn't upload a new thumbnail image, what we'll do here is to just say image equals c.execute, select image URL from notes, where node ID equals ID, and then we'll provide this ID explicitly. ID is node ID. And then the fetch raw, bracket 0, and then otherwise image gonna be upload s3. Request here, and then here we're gonna say something like this: c.execute, update notes set title equals title, description equals desk. This is basically like a new SQL query. It's update query, really similar to like I'm not sure. It's not really similar to insert. Okay, you get the idea. We're resetting each row. Content equals to content image equals to image. Comma, and let's provide the value explicitly as well. Title. Okay. Yeah. So here we're just gonna say title equals request of form.get title. Desk request form.get desk. Status request form.get status. And finally, not finally, we'll say content is requested form.get content. Okay, image equals to image, and node ID equals to node ID. And then here we just say conduct commit, since we're updating the database to commit our changes. And then here, just gonna say return redirect f strings, so on to let the user to will their app. No. Okay. Let's take a look with this work. Would this work? See if our update function works. So hello, hello, hello. Nice to meet. And then first time we'll try to not change the image. Not found. We didn't found it for some reason. Oh. Okay, I forgot to specify what row it is. Here we're also going to say where node ID equals to node ID. I'm doing this. Okay. Let's take a look. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, looks like it does get updated. Slash search query for hello. Okay, now everything changed. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so I'm just gonna edit one of it. Okay, everybody has the same ID as well. That's bad. I'm just gonna create a new node. See if create a new node still works. So new node. Hello. Choose a file. Choose a thumbnail. Choose this Twitter icon. That's one of my students made. And then here, just gonna say hello world. Submit. Success. Now if we go /search. New. I will say new node. Okay. This is a thumbnail image. We maybe need to work on resize the thumbnail image as well. And then here's the ID. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna update it. Okay. Now I'm just gonna say hi. Public new node 2 the world. Submit. Alright, looks good. So now our update function I'm gonna presume works. I'm pretty sure this part works as well. And then finally let's do the delete function. Let's do the delete function. And then here just say at app.route /delete, and then it's gonna provide a node ID as well. Methods equals to get and post. Let's say delete node ID, and here just say if validate node session get user ID node ID. So they own this node. Now what we could do is here we can say c.execute delete from notes where the ID the ID equals to node. Node ID. This is we deleted a node. This is how you delete a node. Delete query. Basically specify title and a constraint. And then we'll just say return redirect to their index page. But they don't have right to do it. And here we're just gonna say else return you can't delete this node. Alright, so let's check if delete works. So I'm just going to delete this new note. And then in here, just going to say delete. All right. To double check, search / new note. Yep, we cannot see anything now. That means our note successfully get deleted. All right. So thanks. So I think that's about it for this video. And then if you like it, please smash the like button and the subscribe button as well. And if you have any questions, please comment down below. I'll put some resources and some links that you can support the channel. And thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.